Hi there, welcome to Weaver Drive. I'm Diane Stember Richards.
And I'm Lance Brown.
We take aging homes with tons of character and soul and we bring them back to life. We call it flipping fantastic. Well, what's exciting about this property is that, I've lived in Willow Glen for 5 years. I didn't know the street existed. It's a beautifully quiet street. And I didn't know there was a kind of Frank Lloyd Wright-esque house around here. There's lots of Eichlers, but it's just like a jewel in this neighborhood.
And another part of that is we're saving this house from demolition. We talked to a lot of developers who had looked at this particular property, and they could make a lot more money by pushing the house over. Scraping it. And putting up a 3,500 square foot box that wouldn't fit with the neighborhood and certainly would lose this significant piece of architecture.
I do feel like we are saving this house. And, one thing that I feel really strongly about, and I won't speak for Lance, but I think we both agree, is that we find these houses, and even though it's a business proposition, we do sort of get emotionally attached, and we feel like this house kind of is a living, breathing entity, and we want to bring it back to life. We want it to just feel like it's, happy and glowing and expressing itself. And the thought of this house being torn down just kind of breaks our heart. So it's almost like adopting a puppy. We sort of feel like we're saving it.
We found the house through our real estate agent, who called me one afternoon and said, hey, do you want to look at a new house? I know it's out of your price range or what you were looking at for your next project, but it's pretty darn interesting.
We have a great relationship with our realtor, Darcy. She knows what we want. She knows what we're looking for. In addition to homes with soul, there's other things that we look for. And we look for floor plans that people can live with. We're always trying to integrate the inside out, whether it be a modern house or a Tudor house. It's just the way that people live.
This house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built in 1955. It's about 1,900 square feet on a 16,000 square foot lot. We bought this place for about $1.4 million.
In Silicon Valley, that's a good price for a place of this size and in this location.
As soon as I pull up to the front driveway, I thought of her because it had 3 things that she absolutely dies for. That's mid-century modern, which this house most definitely is, a circular driveway, and white birch trees.
Well, I should probably interject and say that our last project kind of kicked our butt. It was long and arduous, and we had all kinds of issues. And so we agreed that this was going to be a 4 to 5 month project. We were not going to choose a house that took more than 4 to 5 months.
So I'm like, well, we've got a little bit of an issue. Am I going to tell her about it, or am I going to fall in love and we're just going to have to pursue this project?
So he saw this house in secret with Darcy, our real estate agent, and he came and said to me, I need to talk to you about something. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I found a house. And I said, oh, and it doesn't fit our 4 to 5 month project plan, right? And he's like, not really.
So this house is really unique and very, very exciting. So the minute I showed it to her, the first words out of her mouth, can we live here?
We decided that it was probably in our best interest for us to stay put and try to make this our next project. So we've agreed to dive in. Come on in. So follow me to what I think is the crown jewel of this house. This is the room that took my breath away when we first saw this house. As you can see, it's full mahogany siding. The walls, the ceiling, it has these amazing soffits. So it has the light from above. It's just Frank Lloyd Wright through and through. So I think what we're trying to do here is figure out how do we keep the soul of this room but modernize it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's a lot of wood. You're not liking the yellow tone. I don't have a huge problem with the yellow tone, but what did you want to do with that?
Problem with the yellow tone for me, it's dated because varnish was their only choice.
Right.
Right. So, and varnish in 55 has a lot of solids in it,
yeah.
And so it's yellow, inherently yellow. We're trying to lighten the colors up a little bit and make it a little more modern. bring the mid-century back to modern. I don't want to strip all that stuff down. That's a huge amount of labor. But our paint supplier has some products that he thinks we can do it with chemical wash, and we can still get the little brighter colors and modernize it a little bit and tone down the yellowness.
But you know, I have to say, looking at all the pictures, I've been doing a lot of research on the mid-century and mid-century now, people that have, designers who have moved into them and brought them up to date. And they're not whitewashing the wood. It all is this colors. So you want to talk about the fireplace now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that we have slightly differing views. And some have to do with budget, right? So I don't have a problem with the brick. It has that long sort of rectilinear shape that the whole house has. It does look a little industrial. It looks a little kind of 50s gymnasium. So I mocked up some of the fireplace options we've been talking about. I think that we could really help it out by giving it a nice coat of paint, like a nice sort of satin, like a dark gray, which would look great with this wood.
Certainly the color is one of the biggest things that I don't like. It is, like you said, gymnasium kind of color and industrial looking.
Right.
You know, I'm thinking about what we're talking about out front with the stone and bringing that same ledge stone, which was really popular in the Prairie School, inside and tie the two elements together. You know, one thing we could do is we can paint it now. We can look and see, because if we're going to put stone over the top of it, it doesn't matter if it's painted.
That's a good idea.
Right?
Yeah. So we are going to be removing this wall right here, and what will happen is somebody will enter in the front door and be able to have a vantage point of the dining room, the kitchen, and the outdoor. We're trying to, that's the $1 million view, right? So we want somebody to walk in the front door and go, wow. So that's our goal there.
By utilizing the screen that's in the kitchen, that'll open that up. We'll be able to reuse it, all right, and still keep that mid-century kind of look and feel. One of the things that I've been researching is these glass curtain doors. And what that'll allow us to do is we have an unobstructed sight line from the living room on this wall and then from the dining room. And what happens when you're entertaining is that these will all stack up at one end, so you have an 8-foot wide opening.
Right, that would be incredible.
Should be fantastic.
Yeah. So we are technically house flippers, although I think more of what we do is remodeling and renovation. We renovate old homes. We like to find homes in great neighborhoods that have tons of character and then bring them back to life.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're all constantly looking for properties that have soul, and this house has it in spades.
So here, what I'm envisioning is this wall becomes a half wall, so you're in the dining room and you can see through to the kitchen. This whole wall goes away, so this becomes a big open expanse.
I like that.
So, and then this is just this giant mass in the middle of this very large kitchen.
And you can see why they did it. I mean, all this is really weird. They're separating the service area where the washer and dryer, and they're in the kitchen, right? But like you said, they've got this giant mass here in the room that completely blocks it off. And it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm standing here and looking at, hi.
You got to show them the package entrance.
Oh,
or delivery system.
I mean, they were super clever. I mean, long before Amazon or UPS delivery, they had a little closet. So they have an access door to the outside that they could unlock. And this one they could lock so the UPS driver or mailman could just leave the package.
Do you think they talk to each other like this?
I don't know, but it's really bizarre.
Hey, honey, could you pass the milk?
I know. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. This thing is just crazy.
I think removing the mass in the middle of the kitchen is going to create a huge opening. We'll put a big giant island in the center. People sitting on the outside of it can kind of look in while people are cooking, look outside. I mean, I think removing this wall is going to be key to the whole dynamic of this.
And because I knew you wanted to leave this like a half wall, I did find Restaurant Supply, Industrial Supply, ceiling fan, so there's no visible hood, so your sight line from the kitchen now is not obscured up above.
Okay.
So that's flush with it'd be flush with the ceiling, and they're really, really strong and quiet.
I kind of like the whole hood thing, so we might have to talk about that.
Well, you know what we can do?
I know they're expensive.
When we take the wall down, we can mock up a hood.
Yeah.
So you can see what the sight line looks like, but that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Because it'll keep the sight lines from the living room literally all the way through the kitchen unobscured.
All right, well that will be a discussion point for later.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
So we are walking down the hallway, and this area is going to be the washer dryer closet, which will be really practical, right?
Yeah, we're going to move the washer and dryer out of the kitchen. Now in the kitchen, can you imagine sitting there with a washing machine going?
Right, the washing machine's going, and you're talking to each other like this.
Exactly. So that we'll recycle the same doors that they used in the kitchen. We'll put them here because we want to keep all the mahogany doors. I kind of took a tape measure and see what the movement is through the hallway, and you can get out of the way of the door to open it all the way, but you're still going to fold it all the way back to the walls.
I mean, you do laundry, but you're not, really, like the mom with the laundry basket on the hip and trying to open the door and the laundry falling, and there's all that logistics we have to think about. So we want to make it efficient.
We want to make it efficient, but the bifold doors are usually they take 2 hands to open.
Right. All right. Okay.
So the singular door, and if you can get a hold of it, you've got the basket on your hip, and you can get a hold of it.
Sounds so 50s.
Well.
Okay.
What is Diane's role? Well, she's the chief designer. I'm the junior designer. She's the chief designer. So I'm really the wrist. I'm the.
Oh, come on.
I am. I execute on your vision. We play with that, but sometimes she lets me have my own say or design input. For the most part, Diane she's the chief designer.
Lance takes care of all the stuff that I can't do or I don't want to do. So he does all the finances, he does all the spreadsheets, he runs all the numbers, the costs, the financing, and then he oversees the crews. And he has a background in boat building, and so he knows how to build something from the ground up. So it's sort of the best of both worlds. I get to come in and point and say, I want this and this and this, and then, he knows how to make it happen. So we spoke to Darcy about the project. She says we really need to add a 4th bedroom and a 3rd bathroom to this house to really make it competitive. With those new specs and a complete update of the house, she thinks we can get an asking price of about $2.4. From our analysis, we'll need a budget of about $350,000 to do all that.
Before we even make an offer on a house, I look at room by room what it's going to cost in order to renovate that room. I take that, which is our construction costs, I look at all the rest of the costs, including cost of sales, that's real estate commissions, holding costs, everything else goes against the after repair value or the sales price. We look at that, and if the margin is high enough, then we'll proceed with the project. Otherwise, we can't.
It's interesting because most people that do this, one person has one role and one person has another role. And even though Lance says I'm the chief designer, he has very strong opinions. And so we've come up with this plan that we each have a couple things that we will fall on our sword about, fall on our sword. And we actually use those terms. So we'll go back and forth and we'll, argue and debate, and then one of us will say, no, I get this one. I'm falling on my sword about that. And at that point, the other person has to be like, okay. So we've done that a couple times. And he doesn't do it much, but when he does it, I have to be like, all right, you get it.
Before we fall on our swords, though, there's definitely a sales process. So
selling to the other person.
Yeah, we pitch each other on our ideas, and we frame it in a question. Well, what do you think about this? And saying we should do this. Well, at least I've learned to do that, or try to.
Right, and I think what I do is I just keep asking the same question over, hoping to get a different response.
And over. Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I've heard that before. Well, I had a big pitch that actually went pretty well, which was the flat top roof on the bedroom extension, which I think is going to just not only, I mean, I just think it's going to bring the front of the house to life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, he's still pitching.
I'm still pitching. Well, my current pitch is the stone veneer on...
Everywhere.
Not everywhere, but on the carport and possibly on the new extension in the front. We've talked about the house doesn't really have a defined entrance, and it's a way for us to punch up the curb appeal, really make it dramatic. You know, and of course, you want to bring those elements inside and out. So once you do the stone on the carport, maybe we do it on the fireplace. But I'm still pitching that one.
When we look at the way the entrance is framed on the house now, it's kind of obscured. So when you look at the street, you don't really know where to go. You know, the circular driveway has this entrance through the kitchen and then through the main front door, but right now it's obscured. You can't really see it through the carport.
And people might think that's the front door.
Yeah,
It's
I think
a
so.
kitchen door.
I think so. And you know, with the opportunity of the extension of the fourth bedroom, this is the new addition. It's the fourth bedroom in what the trifecta of layouts, right? It's four bedrooms, 3 bath, and we can now frame the front entrance with the carport mast, the pillar that holds up the carport itself, and this room, and then bring the landscaping potentially with a path from the curb to the front door to lead the guest to here.
And you know what would be really cool is, you know, my favorite part is the flat part of that carport, and if we could continue that and do a flat roof on this new extension.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
From the street, it looks super rectilinear and
absolutely
Frank Lloyd Wright-esque.
And it frames this front entrance now to where we can celebrate this path from the front door to the curb. And
like celebrate with balloons?
Sure, celebrate with balloons. You can do that when you do the open house, love.
Welcome to the courtyard at Weaver. This is the other crown jewel of this property. It looks like the architect really built the whole house around this courtyard. So each of the rooms can look out on it.
Again, it's celebrating that outside-in type of environment,
right?
You know, the floor-to-ceiling glass. You can really see what their focus was,
right?
And you know, certainly we're going to celebrate that.
Yes, and this wall over here, although I don't like removing windows, I think that's going to be a real focal point when people walk in. And we've just been completely inspired by the San Francisco MoMA giant green wall, which is a huge scale. This would be like a micro scale in comparison, but just to walk in and have a big wall of ferns and succulents and greenery, I think would be just spectacular. Okay, so I want to talk to you about the master suite and the master bathroom.
Right.
And this is something that we talked about, but now that we're in front of the drawing, I feel like if somebody's going to pay $2 million plus for a house, they might want a big, cozy bathtub to soak in. You know, we're sort of trying to make this spa-like, kind of Japanese garden-esque. So I don't know. I think we should think about it. I think maybe that's something we need to do some crowdsourcing, questioning on. It's like, would you want a tub or just a big, giant walk-in shower?
You look at all these home designs, right? And people talk about, oh, I have to have a tub. And I think 9 times out of 10, they never get used.
I know, but that one time that they use it, they're like, damn, that was good.
It's true. And
but I also think we could do sort of what we talked about at my house. We could do a waterfall here and just simple, maybe the stone. Maybe you bring your stone from here over here and do the stone, and then just have that cool cascading water just coming straight down.
That's very cool. I like that too.
I'm just going to keep selling you with the stone. You'll agree if I say it's covered in stone.
Well, you know I like the stone. But you also get the added benefit.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
These guys see it, these guys see it, these guys see it.
Yeah, you'll see it from the new master.
Yeah. Plus, if you're out kind of lounging nude in the private master courtyard, you got the waterfall, the noise, and...
I don't know. Well, the neighbors might appreciate that, but who knows?
So, for such big people, it's a really small bedroom, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was room for maybe a bed and 2 side tables. It's teeny.
It is teeny. It's really narrow. I mean, the length this way is fine.
Yeah.
But this, where the bed was here on this wall, obviously because of the sconces, but the orientation of the bedroom is strange too.
Right. Because the money shot's out this way, right?
Right. That's where the creek is, and that's where all the big trees are. I have to think that in '55, the sight line to the other side of the gully wasn't that good.
Right.
These trees are about 60, 70 years old, so
they were probably little tiny babies when they started. So maybe that was
so this was the privacy out here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they had this set up as their kind of Japanese garden, which we're going to kind of duplicate and make it a little more intimate. Yeah. But yeah, this room has to get wider.
I do love that we have a pitched ceiling, right?
I know, you're one of your favorites, vaulted ceilings.
So we are going to be pushing this back wall out 7.5 feet, which we'll show you from the outside, which is going to make this into quite a grand room.
It should be basically a 15 by 15 foot floor space.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Plus, we have our little Japanese garden, which we will bring to life.
Right, and then again, the debate of whether we use the glass curtain walls again.
Oh, you want to do that wall there too? The glass wall?
The glass curtain on this doorway.
You do?
Yes.
Oh. Is that
I
in
know.
your budget?
Yeah, it's in the budget. It's in the budget. It is.
That's a new one you're throwing at me.
No, I've always, because these are all the same size openings, I've always been asking for quotes for 3 of them. They're exactly the same.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when we walked out here, we just freaked out at the size of this backyard. It's 15,000 square feet, and believe it or not, there's a dry creek at the bottom of it. And so basically, even though you're in the middle of suburbia, it actually feels like you're out on a farm.
Yeah, there's deer trails down below. There's, you can see the habitat, riparian habitat down there.
And so we're thinking over here where this kind of scary looking shack is, of having, what are we going to do, like a fire pit and maybe a bench there? So we have like additional seating area.
Yeah, well, we built that cantilever deck out towards the oak tree, and then we'll have a couple stairs coming down, and then to this another landing, which is a little more intimate.
Right.
And we'll have a gas fire pit down there.
Right.
And another seating area.
Right.
So, you know, your evening cocktails could be happening there. Certainly the shed is going away. We're not keeping the shed.
I wanted to show you this. I built this little wall. And I don't know where we'd put it, but I just think it kind of has a cool look. Maybe like hide the trash cans behind it or something?
Maybe.
Maybe means no, right?
No, but you can see through it, right? So it's not going to be a screen. But I think that's something for the landscape architect to look at.
Oh, that means no.
It doesn't mean no.
Next up is demo.
Absolutely. Hammers to walls, removing back down to the studs.
Well, demo's fun. You get to bang on things. Just open stuff up. It's super cathartic.
And really, when you start to take the walls down, you can start to see your vision. It starts to open up the floor plan. Now, those walls that we were going to remove, you can see the sight lines that go through the kitchen to the living room. It's really, really exciting.
Now that demo's done, it's time to get this house put back together.
Hey, Victor.
Hey, Lance.
Good to see you.
How you doing, my friend?
Hi, everyone. We're back at Weaver Drive. This is Victor Bringus, our contractor. Big day here at Weaver. We're pouring concrete. So how many yards are we pouring?
So far we have 15 yards of concrete, and we're expecting a little bit more.
So the footings and foundations are in preparation to add, I think it's about 280 square feet.
Yes.
Some of it's on the back of the house, is an extension of the master bedroom. So the space in the front is the 4th bedroom.
Hey there, we're back at Weaver and wanted to show you some progress. This is our new 4th bedroom. We had the cement truck come bright and early this morning and fill it in and create the foundation, and now they're troweling it off to smooth it. And we're gonna have another bedroom, which is gonna be fantastic. So I wanna show you guys the progress we've made in the last couple weeks. Come on in. So if you recall, this was a wall, and it blocked off all the light and this view. And so we have taken this structural piece, which used to be a design element in the kitchen, and we took it out of the wall and put it here. It was Lance's brilliant idea. So when you walk in, it allows you to see straight through to the dining room and straight outside to the backyard. Looking right through here to the dining room and then right to the kitchen. And you'll see that the major wall has been removed. So let me show you. This right here, there was a wall separating the kitchen from this walkway, and we've reinforced it with new structures, new beams, and now it's become sort of a great room. One of the big changes we've made is we've increased the height of the ceiling. They had ceilings that went right to these beams. So they were basically about 8-foot ceilings, which felt fairly claustrophobic. And so we're raising them up to be 10-foot ceilings, which is going to make the whole space appear larger and bigger and brighter. These giant beams, I think they're about 15, 18 feet. There's one here and there's one here, and these two beams together support the new structure of the kitchen. It enabled us to get rid of the wall that closed off the room from the backyard. So that was a major, major thing for us in this house.
So the kitchen, we took out a structural wall that divided the kitchen from, I guess, the hallway.
The hallway.
And so to remove that wall, we had to put in, well, one cross beam and a cantilevered beam.
Yes.
And the cantilevered beam is really interesting structurally, because once you talked about how that's done.
And the way to support that section of the ceiling is a PSL beam. PSL is pressure compressed material using glue. That's an engineer a beam that is, believe it or not, it could be up to 10 times stronger than a regular lumber, conventional lumber. The way it works with the beam is that beam is cantilevered from the wall, and then we had to put anchors, hold downs, and that beam is connected from the top all the way to the foundation to support the weight of the beam connecting on the other end.
We have to temporarily support the ceiling joists, cut the ceiling joists away to accommodate the new beam, and then we reconnect it all back together to meet code and structure and support the loads the active loads that are already there.
So come on in to our gorgeous master bathroom. You can see that we've done some major work to the slab floors. So this house is slab on grade, meaning there's no basement. And what that means is that the foundation of the house is the cement on the dirt. So in order to create new plumbing, we literally have to cut the cement, design it, mark it, and then have them cut it and run new plumbing all through the floor lines. And then it has to be backfilled with cement. And then once that's done, it can't be changed. So we really have to commit to what we're doing ahead of time. This area is going to be the master bedroom, which is increased in size. As we talked about earlier, we went out about 7.5 feet. And this whole area is going to be pushed out, and there's going to be 3 vertical windows that allow visual access to these gorgeous trees. And this is going to be a big sort of glass panel nano wall, so the whole area opens up. And out here is going to be a very relaxing Japanese garden. So this will be sort of the nude sunbathing and meditation area.
We're still waiting for the truck to come back with our 3 yards of concrete that we need to finish our board. Fortunately, we are in the shade, we're not in the sun, so the concrete is not drying too quickly to make the right bond for it.
So the concrete guys were a little short this morning.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? So
yes.
What, about 3 yards?
3 yards.
So we have this to finish and that footing over there and a couple hold downs.
A couple hold downs, actually. That's pretty much it. Okay, guys, so the truck is here, so we're going to continue. I will see you later. Thank you very much for everything.
So we passed our first
inspection was on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yesterday.
And we passed.
We passed, and that was for all the footings and hold downs and what have you.
So next week we are getting another.
Our next inspection is
for plumbing.
Underground plumbing. So this will be for the gas lines in the yard for the barbecue pit.
And the areas I showed earlier in the master where we cut open the floor.
Exactly. So all that allows us to backfill and to finish the concrete work in the rest of the house, and so that we can frame over the top of it.
Yeah. So the goal really is to get this all framed out so we can get to sheetrock. Because until we get to sheetrock, we can't do any of the fun stuff.
We can't do any of
the
the fun
cabinets.
stuff. Well, the fun stuff for you.
Fun stuff for me, yeah.
The schedule?
Do we have the schedule all mapped out until we complete the house to sale? No. So there's an overall schedule that shows us start and end as the end date, with our target being on market in October. And there's some blanks that we need to fill in the middle.
We can't afford any slippage on this project whatsoever. This house is going to be like staged the first week of October. So we're basically backing into the schedule from that end date. The house will be on market in the beginning of October, come hell or high water.
That's right. And we're very fortunate. We haven't found any surprises when we did the demo that would delay us, where we had to do restructure or what have you. So there's nothing on the critical path right now that will stop us from having that October date. And
knock on wood?
Knock on wood, yeah. That's a big chunk of wood up there. One of the things that helps with schedule is making decisions on materials, and so we can get stuff ordered. I mean, there's already bathtubs sitting in the front yard. The second bathtub will be here.
That's a nice white trash look.
Well, you can't see it from the street. It's
okay.
behind the security fence.
Is it behind the porta potty?
No, they're separated too. Yeah, so having those fixtures here, so the plumber, as soon as we're framed, he's setting the tub. Having all those decisions made that may slow down schedule, like tile.
Yeah.
Having the tile on site weeks before the tile guy's ready to go, or we're ready to go for the tile guy, is helpful, and that shaves days off the schedule, because all those kind of add up.
We chose this house for a few reasons. First of all, we've never done mid-century modern before. We've done a bungalow, we've done craftsman, our last one was Tudor, and we feel passionate about this era of architecture, and we feel like we can modernize it, and we can bring square footage to it, and we can really create a home that someone's gonna love. This is going to be the deck area that will kind of cantilever out over this hillside, and it's going to be just an amazing setting underneath this enormous oak tree. So it's really going to help increase the entertaining area back here and just provide a beautiful place to chill out or have a glass of wine. All right, well, next time I need to consider wearing some construction shoes. Do you think they have platform boots for women? Next time on Flipping Fantastic. Major changes take place at Weaver Drive. Structural work and framing is completed and sheetrock is installed. Tiles and wood floors get put into place, and we get to see the installation of the kitchen countertops. Darcy Arena of Serena Group joins me to discuss the marketing plans for Weaver. And we adopt a puppy, and he joins me on a field trip and a quest for a rock to use as a water feature.